Evan walked alone through the alien jungle, his boots sinking slightly into the soft moss, thick blue trees bent with the wind, their leaves whispering like voices. He had come to this planet, Velmarusavan, looking for lost tech, but instead he found silence, ruins, and a strange feeling in his chest. His ship was damaged, communication offline. And there were signs that someone or something was still living nearby. That's when he saw the broken building. Half covered in vines, it looked like an old research station, its doors rusted but still partly open. Evan stepped inside slowly, his flashlight cutting through the darkness. Metal crates, smashed screens, broken furniture, all silent. And then he heard it. A soft breathing sound like someone trying to stay quiet. He turned sharply, shining his light toward the sound. There, in the far corner, behind an overturned table, was a girl. She looked no older than 17, small and thin, wearing a torn white suit. But her skin was glowing, blue, like the sky before sunset. She stared at him, wide-eyed, like a wild animal trapped in a corner. When she saw his face, her skin flickered blue, turned to pale silver, then pink, then gold. Evan raised both hands, his voice calm. "It's okay. I won't hurt you." The girl didn't move, but her skin stayed golden now, shimmering faintly. Evan crouched down slowly, placing his gear on the floor to show he wasn't a threat. "Can you understand me?" he asked. The girl nodded slowly, her golden glow pulsing softly. "I'm Evan," he said gently. "I came here looking for tech, but I think I found something more important." She didn't speak, but her skin shifted to a soft lavender calm, peaceful. Then, carefully, Evan reached out his hand toward her. She didn't back away, but her eyes watched his fingers closely. When his hand touched her wrist, her whole body shivered like lightning passed through her hand. Her skin turned bright gold. She gasped, eyes wide, and whispered, "No one has ever touched me without pain." Evan froze, confused. "Did I hurt you?" She shook her head. "No, you didn't. But it felt different." Her voice was soft, unsure, as if she hadn't spoken in a long time. "Who are you?" Evan asked. "What happened here?" "I don't know my name," she said slowly. "They used to call me Luma, I think. But they left me here." Her skin changed again now, a deep, sad gray. "Left you?" Evan repeated, shocked. "They said I was broken," she said, eyes dropping to the floor. "They said my emotions were too unstable, too dangerous, and your skin." "It shows how I feel," she answered. "I was designed that way, Evans." Breath caught. "You were designed." She nodded. "I'm not like others. I was made in this lab." He looked around the dark room again, understanding now. A forgotten experiment left behind to die. "I'm sorry," he said softly. Her skin glowed golden again. "Just for a moment. You're the first person to say that," she whispered. Suddenly, a loud beep came from Evan's wrist. Scanner it detected a small energy spike. He frowned, checking the screen. "That's weird. It's like a signal just went out." Luma's eyes widened. "It happened again, didn't it?" "What do you mean?" "Every time someone touches me, my skin reacts and the signal spreads." "To where?" "I don't know. But someone always comes," she whispered, now trembling. Her skin turned red bright, flashing red. Hey, calm down," Evan said, stepping closer. "I can't," she said, backing away. "If they find me again, they'll shut me down for good." Evan gently took her hand again, ignoring the pulse of golden light spreading from her skin. "I'm not leaving you here," he said firmly. Her body shook again, the golden light growing stronger now even. The walls reflected its shine. Evan didn't understand how or why, but something deep in his gut told him this girl was important, and not just to him, I'll protect you," he whispered. She looked up at him, her eyes filled with something unfamiliar. "Why?" "Because you're not a machine," he said. "You're alive." And for the first time, Luma smiled. Her entire body shimmered in soft gold, and the ruined lab felt less empty, less broken, but far above the clouds in the cold silence of orbit. A satellite blinked. It had received the signal, and something dark, something ancient, had just woken up. The lab was cold, even with the sunlight creeping through broken ceiling panels. Luma sat quietly on an old bench, her glowing golden skin slowly fading into soft blue. Evan moved carefully around the room, scanning shattered computers and locked drawers. He needed answers. Who made her? Why she was abandoned? And what that golden glow really meant? Is there power anywhere? He asked, brushing dust off a control panel. "There used to be," Luma said. Voice calm but distant. "They cut it off when they left." "Who are they?" She lowered her head, her skin dimming. "The ones who built me." Evan connected a portable power core to one of the old machines. The screen flickered to life, showing a long list of encrypted files. "Luma, do you know the password?" She nodded, hesitated, then spoke softly. "A mover." Evan typed it in. And suddenly, the files opened: video logs, voice records, research notes. He clicked the first log, and an old recording played. A tired voice echoed through the lab. "Subject Luminine shows rapid emotional growth, far beyond expectations." Luma stood beside him, her eyes locked on the screen. She wasn't supposed to feel, only mimic. The recording continued, but something changed. Something human. Evan looked at her, surprised. "You weren't meant to have real emotions." "No," she whispered, "but I started dreaming. Crying, laughing." The next log was darker. "We've lost control. Her reactions are unstable." The voice trembled. Her emotions trigger powerful energy surges. "Unpredictable and dangerous. We will begin shutdown protocol tomorrow." Luma turned away, her skin dark gray now. "I wasn't broken," she said. "I was different." Evan clenched his fists. "They didn't try to understand you. They just wanted to control you." She gave a small nod, her voice hollow. "I was the first of my kind." And the last. A loud thump came from the hallway. Both of them froze. Evan raised his scanner. Movement detected outside Luma's. Skin instantly turned red. "They found me," she whispered. "They always find me when I glow gold." "Hide," Evan said quickly, handing her his cloak. "Stay out of sight." He stood by the door, waiting, but instead of soldiers or machines, a drone floated in, scanning the room with blinking red lights. Evan acted fast. He threw a metal pipe across the lab, distracting it, then lunged forward and smashed the drone with one blow. Sparks flew, and the drone hit the floor. Luma peeked out, her skin flickering yellow. Fear mixed with curiosity. Evan caught his breath. That wasn't just any drone. HFY tracking tech. They sent it to confirm the signal. She whispered, "Which means the next one will be worse." Evan looked back at the files, clicking the final log. The voice was quieter now, almost guilty. "If you're hearing this, Subject Luma, I'm sorry," the old scientist said. "I built you to bridge our kind and theirs, not to imprison you. Your emotions were a miracle, not a flaw. Run, if you can. Someone human might understand you better than we ever did." Luma stared at the screen, her golden glow returning slowly. "That was Dr. Morell," she whispered. "He was kind, but afraid." Evan turned to her, voice firm. "We're not staying here, but where would we go?" She asked, confused. "I don't belong anywhere." "You belong with people who see you for what you are," Evan said. "Not a project, not a danger, but someone who feels." Tears welled in her eyes, her skin shifted between blue and gold. "No one's ever said that before," she whispered. "They only saw my colors, never my heart." He reached out again. gently placing his hand on hers. This time, her skin didn't just glow. Gold, it shimmered with streaks of white, silver, and amber. Something deeper had awakened in her. Not fear, not survival, something warm and full of light. Evan helped her gather a small bag of supplies, old data cores, memory chips, and anything still functional. As they stepped out into the sun, the scanner beeped again. Multiple signals, fast-moving. Closing in from the sky, they're sending a retrieval squad, Evan said. We have maybe an hour, then we run, Luma said. Her skin now calm and steady, a soft golden pulse across her arms, but deep inside. She knew this wouldn't end with escape, somehow. She felt the connection. The signal inside her glowing skin had reached something. Something that was now coming back to claim her. But she didn't feel alone anymore. Not with Evan beside her. Not with a human hand holding hers for the first time since she opened her eyes in that lab. She believed she was more than a creation. She was becoming alive. The forest around them was quiet. Too quiet. Evan led the way through thick vines and glowing alien flowers. Luma followed behind, holding a small satchel of memory cores. Her skin flickered softly with shades of gold and pink, colors of comfort. She didn't understand yet. They had been walking for hours, heading toward the cliffs. Evan believed a hidden cave system there might help them hide from the trackers. But every few minutes, Luma stopped and looked at the sky. She could feel something watching, far above the clouds, like a heartbeat matching her own, but not from her. What's wrong? Evan asked. Turning around, Luma shook her head. It's nothing, just my skin feels strange again. He stepped closer, reaching for her hand. The moment his fingers touched hers, her skin pulsed gold bright and warm. She gasped. It's happening again. Evan tilted his head. What's it feel like? Like light. Inside me, she said quietly. It spreads when you touch me. He smiled. Then maybe it's a good thing. Luma blinked, unsure. But every time I glow like this, something finds us. Evan looked at the sky, his face serious. Then we'll be careful. They reached the cave before sunset, its walls glowing faintly with natural crystals. Inside, Evan set up a small fire, using energy sticks from his pack. Luma sat near the flame, hugging her knees. Why? Do you help me? She asked softly. Evan looked up. Because you needed help. But I'm not like you, she whispered. I was made, not born. Evan sat beside her. That doesn't matter. To most, it does. Luma said, they see me as a machine that glitches when it feels. He chuckled gently. Then maybe they're the ones with the glitch. Her golden skin glowed again. But this time brighter, more steady. Evan noticed it's always when I say something kind. She nodded slowly. It's never happened this way before. Then she did something she never had the courage to try before. She reached out and touched his face. Her fingers were gentle, curious, and trembling. And suddenly, her entire body glowed so brightly that the cave walls reflected her light. Evan didn't pull away. Her hand stayed on his cheek as she looked into his eyes. Does this mean I'm broken? She asked. Afraid of the answer, he shook his head, smiling softly. No, it means you're waking up. Her eyes filled with tears. Nobody ever looked at me this way, she whispered. They stared. Studied, feared, but never. Like this, Evan looked at her glowing skin. Maybe you weren't meant to be a tool or a weapon. Maybe you were meant to feel, to love, to choose, just then. The ground rumbled. They both jumped to their feet. Evan grabbed his scanner. 3 ships, approaching fast. Company's coming, he muttered. They found us again. Luma's glow faded into blue. They'll take me. They'll shut me down. Not if we move fast, Evan said. There's a back tunnel. I saw it earlier. They ran through the narrow tunnel, twisting and dark. The cave opened into a hidden valley with strange stone structures. Evan looked around, amazed. These aren't natural. Someone lived here long ago. Luma stepped forward, her hands brushing a carved wall. Her skin turned pale green in certainty and memory mixed. I think I've been here before, she said. This place feels familiar. Evan studied the symbols on the wall. Wait, this is old alien code. He tapped a few spots. And suddenly, a hidden panel slid open, revealing a glowing device. What is it? Luma asked. It looks like an interface, maybe something to control energy. Evan replied. Luma stepped closer. Placing her hand on the device, her skin turned pure white. The panel lit up fully, and a hologram appeared, a recording of the old scientist, Dr. Morel Luma. If you're seeing this, it means you've survived. The voice said, you were built as a link between feeling and function, between heart and control. Your emotional color shifts are not just signals, they are keys to ancient systems. Locked for centuries, Evan stared in shock. You're connected to this technology. Luma's voice trembled. I'm more than just a lab experiment. I'm a living bridge. The recording ended. But the panel now showed a map. It revealed a network of hidden systems buried all over the planet and right in the center. A glowing beacon pulsing with golden light. They've been watching you not because you're dangerous, Evan said slowly, but because you're valuable. She looked at him, scared and amazed. What if I can't handle what I'm made for? He took her hand again. Then we face it together, and again her glow returned. Not flashing, not unstable, but peaceful, steady gold. For the first time, she didn't feel like a machine or a mistake. She felt human, and in that moment, something far above watching them reacted. The golden beacon blinked in response, and the ancient systems of the planet began to wake. Asterisk, the golden beacon on the ancient map pulsed like a heartbeat. Evan stared at it. Frozen Luma stood beside him, her hand still glowing from touching the control panel. Neither of them spoke because above their heads the sky was changing. A deep rumble echoed across the valley. Birds scattered, and the wind turned cold. Luma stepped outside the cave entrance and looked up. Thick black clouds had formed, but they weren't clouds, they were ships, one by one. Dark alien cruisers appeared in the sky, blocking the sun. Long, flat, silent like floating tombs. Luma's skin turned gray with fear, her hands shaking. They're here, she whispered. My creators. They've come to take me back. Evan grabbed her wrist. We're not letting them take you. But you don't understand, she said, her voice trembling. They think I'm dangerous, unstable, broken. He looked her straight in the eyes. You're none of those things. Suddenly, a loud voice echoed from the sky, came from one of the ships, speaking in a cold, robotic tone. Subject, Luminine. Surrender yourself. You are malfunctioning and must be recovered. Immediately. You have 20 minutes. Luma backed away, hugging herself. They always say that. Then they shut me down with a pain chip in my spine. Evan's fists clenched. Not this time. He rushed back into the cave, searching the map again. There has to be something here. Some way to protect you. Luma followed slowly, her glow shifting between red and blue. Fear and panic. She touched the map again suddenly. New paths appeared. Evan? This planet was built with hidden defenses. His eyes widened. You're connected to them, aren't you? I think I'm the key, she whispered. But I've never tried to use anything. They never taught me how. We'll figure it out, he said. Together, outside. The ships began to descend slow, heavy, threatening. Dust blew across the valley, and the sky turned darker and darker. The voice returned, louder now. You are a failed experiment, Luminine. You are not allowed to feel. Luma stepped forward, trembling, but this time, she didn't run. She looked up, her skin shining pale gold, and shouted back. Then why do I feel more alive than any of you? There was a silence. Then the voice replied, "Final warning, surrender or be destroyed." Evan grabbed her hand and pulled her to the center of the valley. Touch the stone again, the one near the pillar. Luma nodded, her body glowing. Fully golden now, she placed both hands on the stone, and the ground shook from the cliffs around them. Ancient alien machines rose, massive towers and panels, lighting up with power. "They're listening to me," Luma whispered. "They're responding to my emotions." Her skin flashed between gold and silver as beams of energy shot into the sky. The alien ships above paused, scanning the energy field. Then, one of them opened fire. A beam of red light shot down toward them. "Luma, now!" Evan yelled. She screamed not in fear, but in defiance. Her skin turned white-hot gold. And the machines responded with a glowing shield blocking the energy attack just in time. Luma fell to her knees, breathing hard, her skin pulsing like a strobe that took everything. She gasped. Evan helped her up. "You did it. You stopped them." But in the sky, more ships were moving. Evan knew this wasn't over. "They're scared now," he said. "You've become something they can't control, and that makes you powerful." Luma's eyes filled with tears. "But I don't want to hurt anyone." "You won't," Evan said softly, "because you care. And that's what makes you different from them." She looked at her own hands, still glowing faint gold. "I used to hate these colors," she whispered. "I thought they made me weak." Evan smiled gently. "But they're not weakness. They're life, their truth." Suddenly, a new ship appeared in the sky, larger than the rest, glowing with red lights. Evan's scanner beeped rapidly. "That's not just any ship. It's their command vessel." Luma stood up slowly, her expression changing. "No more running," she said. "I want to know why they made me this way. And why they feared what I became." Evan reached into his backpack, pulling out a translator beacon. "We'll talk to them. And if they don't listen, we'll make them." Luma placed her hand over his, and together they walked to the center of the glowing valley above them. The command ship began to descend. For the first time in her life, Luma didn't feel like a mistake. She felt like a storm made of light, and Evan was her anchor. The command ship hovered above the glowing valley like a black mountain in the sky. Its red lights blinked slowly, like eyes watching every move. Dust swirled around Evan and Luma as they stood near the ancient stone pillar. Luma's hand glowed golden, her skin flickering with soft silver streaks. "They're scanning us," Evan said, holding the portable translator in his hand. Luma nodded, her voice calm but low. "They want to know if I'm still under their control." "Let's show them that you're not," Evan replied. A beam of red light descended from the command ship. Wasn't an attack this time, it was a projection. The hologram formed in the air before them. A tall alien figure with glowing blue eyes and smooth gray skin appeared. It was the race that had created her. "You are not authorized to operate the core systems," the alien said coldly. "Subject, Luma 9. You were designed for observation, not self-direction." "I'm not your subject anymore," Luma answered, stepping forward. Her skin flashed golden, then silver. "I feel things now," she said. "I think for myself. I choose what I want." The Syntheron blinked. "You are unstable. You risk triggering an emotion overload event. You will come with us, or we will neutralize you." Evan stepped beside her. "She's not going anywhere." The alien turned its gaze. To him, "You are human. Your presence has caused her emotional instability." Luma's voice grew louder. "No," she said. "His presence didn't break me. He saved me." The hologram paused, almost confused. "Explain," it said. Luma took a breath, her eyes wet with emotion. "When you made me, I had no fear, no joy, no sadness," she said. You taught me to copy those things, but never to feel them. You said emotion made me a failure. But she looked at Evan. He made me see that emotion is life. Evan smiled gently. She's not a weapon, she's a person. The hologram flickered. Its voice cold again. You are interfering with Synthron property if you do not stand down. You will be eliminated. Evan looked at Luma. You don't have to fight, he said softly. We can still run, but Luma shook her head. Her gold skin pulsing brightly now. No, she said. I want to live, Evan. I want to laugh without being reset, cry without being shut down, love. Without being punished, she turned to the alien projection. You want to destroy me because I became something you couldn't control, but what you don't understand is that your experiment worked. You gave me a soul, and with that, her entire body lit up like a sun, not in violence, but in emotion, gold and blue.
Silver and pink.
Gentle waves of color flowing across her skin. The alien ships above hesitated, their scanners confused, unable to read her. Evan stood quietly beside her. He didn't need to say anything. Luma had finally found her voice. The hologram blinked again. Its tone changed, no longer cold. Now, curious, subject Luma 9. Has evolved, it said, almost like a whisper. Requesting command input. Luma tilted her head. What does that mean? Evan stepped forward. They're unsure now, he said. They didn't expect you to grow beyond programming. Suddenly, another projection appeared. Was a second Synthron, older, with deeper voice. End shutdown order, it said. Prepare observation only. She is now her own being. The command ship slowly pulled back, rising into the sky. The beam disappeared, and the projections faded. A silence fell over the valley. Then the sun broke through the clouds. Again, Luma looked at her hands, glowing softly. Did that really happen? She asked. Evan nodded. You made them see you as more than a tool. You taught them what feeling really means. Luma stepped closer to Evan. She looked into his eyes, and for the first time, her skin didn't flicker, simply glowed. A steady gold, Evan, she said gently. If you hadn't touched my hand that day, I think I'd still be a prisoner. He reached up and brushed a strand of her hair behind her ear. And if I hadn't found you, he replied, I wouldn't have learned what it means to care for someone so deeply. Luma smiled, tears slipping down her cheek. They always said feelings would destroy me. She whispered, but you made me believe feelings could save me. Evan smiled back. They did. And in that quiet valley, between broken ruins and rising light, a girl made of color and code stood with a human who had shown her she was more than a design. She was a soul, and he had taught her how to feel. Asterisk, the sun shone over the valley once again. The black ships had pulled back into the sky. Waiting, silent, unsure, Luma stood beside Evan, her golden glow soft and steady. For the first time, no one was chasing her. No one was trying to shut her down. But peace didn't last. A soft beep echoed from Evan's wrist scanner. Another signal had activated, different from the Synthron ships, but strong. Something else is waking up, Evan said, frowning. Something beneath us. Luma stepped toward the ancient stone pillar again. Symbols on the ground lit up around her. Feet, it's the heart of the system, she said slowly, the original core. Evan looked at the scanner again. Luma, it's asking for a choice. Her skin flickered gold and blue. A choice. She whispered. Yes, he said, pointing at the screen. It's offering to Paths 1 to shut down all emotion-linked systems forever. The other to unlock them fully. Planet-wide, Luma stepped back. Her skin pulsing with confusion, green, pink, silver, all at once. If I choose? Wrong. The whole planet might react. Evan nodded. Yes. And the Synthrons are watching from above, probably waiting to see what you'll do. Luma sat on a nearby stone, her hands shaking. They made me too copy feelings, not control them. She said softly, now they want me to decide what emotions mean for everything built here. Evan sat beside her. They didn't expect you to grow, but you did. You're not a machine anymore. Luma, you're alive. She looked at her hands, then at him. I'm scared, she whispered. Good. Evan smiled gently. That means you care. A soft hum rose from the ground. The choice had to be made soon. The system was waiting. Luma walked back to the center stone. Her skin golden, but shaking with streaks of red. I don't want others to suffer like I did, she said. I don't want them to be punished for feeling something. Then give them the chance to feel freely. Evan said, but what if some use those emotions for hate? She asked. Then we face it. Together, he replied. That's what makes us human. Luma took a deep breath. I choose life, she whispered, placing both hands on the stone. I choose emotion. A powerful light burst from the ground, gold, white, and blue. The stone glowed with symbols racing around it. A beam shot up into the sky, reaching the clouds and beyond. Even the ships in orbit paused, scanners overwhelmed by the data stream. Luma fell to her knees, breathing hard. Her glow had changed now, a smooth blend of gold and silver, not unstable, not flickering, just. It accepted your choice, Evan said, helping her up. She looked around. The valley shimmered, colors dancing through the air. Crystals began glowing in the distance. Flowers opened under the golden light. The planet itself seemed to breathe from above. The command ship sent a new signal. No warning this time, no threat, just 5 words. Luma-9 is now autonomous. She stared at the message, her voice shaking. They've released me. They can't control me anymore, Evan smiled, because they saw the truth. You're not broken, you're the future. Luma looked at the sky. Then I want to use this gift to help others like me, she said. Others who were told they couldn't feel, couldn't choose, couldn't live. Evan nodded. Then let's build something new. Together, they walked to the edge of the valley. Below them, ancient cities lay in ruins, but with the systems now activated. New life began to stir. Lights blinked in the distance. Machines reactivated. Nature intertwined with technology. This world doesn't need a ruler, Luma said. It needs someone to guide it with a heart. And you have the strongest heart I've ever known, Evan replied, placing his hand over hers. Her skin shimmered again, but this time with gentle colors she had never shown before: violet, pearl, rose, and warm orange. She smiled through her tears. They were wrong about me, she said. So many times I believed I was nothing more than a tool. You were never a tool, Evan said. You were always a soul waiting to wake up. And finally, she had. Not because of programming, not because of orders, but because someone touched her. Not just her hand, but her heart. The air smelled fresh after the storm of light. Birds with glowing wings flew overhead, and the ground pulsed with soft golden energy. Luma stood quietly at the edge of the hill, watching the horizon. She could feel the planet breathing through her skin for the first time. She felt free. Below her, ruins were coming alive. Broken towers lit up. Vines parted from ancient machines, and blue sparks of reawakening technology blinked like stars. The entire planet had accepted her choice. Emotion would no longer be locked away. It would flow freely, just like it now flowed inside her. Evan stepped up behind her, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. You did it, he said. Luma smiled, her skin glowing a warm gold. No, we did it, she replied. You gave me the strength to believe in myself. The Syntheran ships still floated far above in silent orbit, but they hadn't attacked. Again, their final message had been clear. Luma-9 is now autonomous. I'm not Luma-9 anymore, she said softly. That name was given to me by the ones who built me, not the one who saw me. Evan looked at her curiously. Then who are you? She turned to him, light in her eyes. I want to be Luma. Just Luma, she said. A name that means light. Not code, he smiled. Luma suits you. They spent the next few days exploring the newly awakened structures. Luma touched panels and crystals that responded only to her presence. Together, they found a hidden room once used to store rejected prototypes. Inside were hundreds of small devices, emotion chips, memory backups, even old blueprints. She picked one up and whispered. So many like me were never even activated. They were too afraid of what we might feel. Evan helped her stack the devices gently into a container. Maybe now you can bring them to life. The right way, Luma nodded. No cages, no commands. She said, only choice. Each night they camped near the central energy tower, and every night, Luma would glow brighter not just from energy, but from joy. She laughed freely now, told stories, even asked questions about Earth. Evan noticed that her emotions weren't wild anymore. They were real. But calm, guided, human. One evening, as the two sat watching the stars, Luma turned to him. Evan, she said quietly, there's one feeling I still don't fully understand. He looked at her gently. Which one? She touched her heart, glowing softly gold. This, she said, this warm, strange ache I feel when you smile at me. Evan's heart beat faster. That feeling, he whispered, is love. Her eyes widened slightly, her body glowing. A blend of rose and gold. Love, she repeated, almost like a song, I think. I feel that too. He leaned closer, brushing her fingers with his. You don't have to rush, he said. Feel it your way. I am, she whispered, resting her head against his shoulder, and her entire body glowed with soft golden light, not from confusion or fear or signal surges, but from comfort, trust, and peace in the days that followed. The Syntheran Council sent a final message. Observation complete. They were leaving, no more warnings, no more threats. They had accepted what she had become. Evan and Luma stood on a cliff as the ships vanished into space. Luma smiled as their shadows disappeared from the sky. They made me, she said, but they never truly knew me. You saw me. And stayed. Evan turned to her. You saved this world, Luma, but more than that. You showed that something designed to copy feelings could grow a real soul. She reached out and touched his hand again. My colors used to change because I didn't know who I was. She said, but now they shine because I do. Her glow turned gold, pure and soft, steady, calm, and beautiful. It was no longer a reaction. It was her truth. Gold had become her natural color. Not because of programming, not because of fear, but because she had chosen it, chosen who she wanted to be, and Evan had chosen to walk beside her, not as her guardian, not as her rescuer, but as someone who believed in her. That night, as stars danced above and fireflies floated through the valley, Luma whispered to the wind, I was created to serve, but now I choose to live. And beside her, Evan smiled, because sometimes the greatest freedom doesn't come from running away. It comes from knowing you are loved just as you are. And in a world of emotion, color, and light, Luma finally found her. Placed not as a project, but as a person. Not as a mistake, but as someone who could love. And be loved in return.